Hi, this is Gregory Possiman with the monthly message for March of 2022. And before we begin, a couple of announcements. My next appearance on Om Times Radio with Melissa Caprio will be on March 30th. That's a Wednesday, and that will take place at 4 p.m. New York time. Our next webinar will be Spirit Family Gathering 4, and that will take place on April 16th, a Saturday. That will be from 9 a.m. to 12 noon New York time, and we look forward to that event. And today's channeling is all about letting go. Greetings. We are she who is called Mastress Quan Yin. We bow to your most divine essence. As the man has announced, this month we are going to work on letting go. Letting go of anxiety. Letting go of worry. Letting go of the past, and letting go what some have labeled character defects. So, in order for us to begin, let us take a deep breath and imagine for a moment you are literally stepping outside of self and having a conversation with self. And that conversation is all about some very difficult questions. The first, how do I sabotage myself? How do I hold myself back from the experiences that I desire to have? How, in my behavior, do I give myself permission to create anger, frustration, disappointment, and discouragement? And breathe. And do I sometimes ignore what is going on around me because it does not fit into the fantasy or the desire that I place in my mind? Do I sometimes ignore the boundaries of others because they do not fit into my own plan or desire or wishes? Do I choose to ignore certain communication that could be beneficial and helpful? And breathe. Do I sometimes look at what one might call indicators from the universe and ignore them because I do not want to see the reality of what is taking place? And if I were to allow myself to pay closer attention, to listen more closely to those around me, how would the outcome of my life be more peaceful, more enjoyable, less anxious? And breathe. Do I sometimes ignore my own power? And do I sometimes procrastinate and put off those things that I know to be very important, but not what I want to do, so to speak? And finally, do I sometimes become so focused on a particular outcome or situation that I desire to create that I ignore all of the other indications of reality around me? We imagine that you have answered yes to one of the questions. So, while you are having this communication with self, give yourself permission to first look closely at the reality of your life and stop ignoring those aspects that you do not like to see, and breathe. But this is not an opportunity to feel guilty and criticize self. It is an opportunity to open your eyes, open your mind, and open to your soul in order to begin to re-examine your own behavior. And in the process, to ask self some serious questions with the idea that ultimately, perhaps your behavior, your beliefs, and your reality can change as a result of perhaps a bit more humility, a bit more reality, and a lot of honesty with self. And breathe. If I desire to change the outcomes, the reality of my own life, the place where I can best begin is looking inside instead of outside. If I can stop blaming others and those around me and give myself permission to be more self-investigative, more self-honesty, more self-evaluation, perhaps then I can give myself permission to open to change. And so, in addressing the ego and asking a most difficult question, whom have I blamed for my failures? Whom have I blamed for my limitations? Has it been those who raised me? Parents, foster parents, people who were mentors or teachers? Have I blamed my own guides and teachers, somehow making it their fault for not creating what I desire? And have I come complacent? Have I come to a place of complacency, a sort of lack of ambition, where I think to myself, what is the point? I am only going to fail. That is a belief that does not serve you. It is an excuse a crutch on which to lean, so that you do not have to be honest about your abilities. We believe in you. We know that you have great ability. We know that you are capable of anything you truly want to create in your life and accomplish. And we know the feeling of fulfillment that you will experience will be well worth it. Perhaps we are your cheerleader. Perhaps this could be called a pep talk, like halftime of any sort of athletic competition, where someone stands up to speak and inspires you to greater and greater accomplishment. You have that within you. It is a part of you. And whatever you believe that you cannot accomplish, decide to reverse your belief and give yourself permission to believe in who you are, to believe in the divine nature of your being, and to recognize that you can and you will accomplish all that you set out to, including the healing of self, including an honest evaluation of where you are. And last but not least, acceptance. Not the acceptance of your inadequacy, but rather the acceptance that perhaps what you have been doing has not worked. And maybe it is time to try another strategy, take another action. And truly, how unpleasant, how challenging, and how difficult might that be? Sometimes when one realizes the old behavior or pattern or action is not working, it is time to get creative. Maybe ask someone else their opinion, and instead of brushing it off and saying, oh, that will never work, despite your disbelief, give yourself permission to try something different. Remember, the definition of insanity is to continue to try the same procedure and expect different results. Maybe it is time to try a different procedure, ask for help, and have different results. We are she who is called Mastress Quan Yin. We bow to your ability to let go and to try something different, something new, and to have a different experience. So be it. Welcome back. This is Gregory Possiman coming to you from Todd, North Carolina. And I would like to thank all of you again for all of your well wishes for both Sandy and I. We are both in the process of healing. A little melanoma on my ear is healing very nicely, and we are expecting all the best for Sandy in her health and her physical nature. So, with a great deal of gratitude, this is Gregory Possiman signing off with the monthly message for March of 2022.